Stand by. Oh, what's up, smarty people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, KeysDAN Show. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com, RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? I'm so excited. DJLittleRock.com. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, interesting facts. Interestingfacts.com. Those people are doing a great job. They do some great work, I tell you. Today on the program, I have 13 facts that will change how you look at the world. Yeah, 13 of those facts. Even for the most avid explorers, the planet hides more than a few surprises, like that Reno, Nevada is farther west than Los Angeles. For more earth-shaking information, like which state is simultaneously the westernmost, easternmost, and northernmost in the U.S., check out the following facts that just might change your perspective forever. Forever, ever? Number one, Reno, Nevada is farther west than Los Angeles. Los Angeles is typically seen as the West Coast city. It's right next to the ocean, and it has all those beaches. So it would make sense for it to be farther west than a desert city like Reno, right? Wrong. Wrong. Reno is actually around 86 miles farther west than Los Angeles due to the curve of California and the placement of the states. Yeah, kind of curves in. So yeah, pretty cool. Number two, Asia is bigger than the moon. The moon isn't as big as it looks, around 27% the size of the Earth, and it has 14.6 million square miles of surface area. Although this seems like a lot, it is significantly less than the total surface area of Asia, which is 17.2 million square miles, making Earth's biggest continent larger than the moon. Man, that's pretty cool. Number three, continents shift at the same speed that your fingernails grow. If you were awake during geology class, and well, I might have been some days, you'll remember that the planet's tectonic plates are in a state of near constant movement. Oh yeah, I kind of remember that. This is how the Earth went from having basically one big continent to having 7. Remember Panacea, the one big continent, and then everything kind of moved apart? Yeah, they kind of, if you move all the continents together, it kind of looks like they fit together. So that makes sense. Back to the text. For around 40 million years, the continents were in a slow phase, moving away from each other at a rate of about 1 millimeter per year. Then about 200 million years ago, things got kicked into high gear, and the plates began to move at about 20 millimeters per year, which scientists say is equivalent to the speed at which fingernails grow. I guess it depends on how much keratin that you eat. I think that helps you makes your hair and your fingernails grow. Little tiny tidbits of facts jump into my head as I'm reading these other facts. Number 4, Mount Everest is not the world's tallest mountain. Huh? If someone asks you what's the tallest mountain in the world, you'd probably answer, why, Mount Everest, of course. Everyone knows that. Sadly, you'd be wrong. Technically, okay, this is one of those moments where you turn around in your chair and go, technically, Mount Everest is the tallest mountain above sea level, but it isn't the tallest in the world. That honor goes to Mauna Kea in Hawaii. Mauna Kea rises up 13,796 feet above sea level, compared to Everest at 29,035 feet, but it also extends down an additional 19,700 feet below sea level into the Pacific Ocean. That makes it the world's tallest mountain as measured from base to peak. Oh, yeah. You're going to turn around in your chair in the office and go, well, actually, I like that. I like that. You're going to be the smartest and maybe the most obnoxious person in the office today. Number 5, Alaska is the westernmost, easternmost, and northernmost state in the U.S. This sounds impossible, but we assure you it's true. From looking at a map, it's pretty obvious that Alaska is the northernmost state in the country. What's surprising is the Aleutian Islands between Russia and Alaska boast the westernmost point of the United States, but in what seems like some sort of geographical oxymoron, they're also home to the easternmost point of the U.S. too, an island called Semisopochnoi, Semisopochnoi. Oh my goodness, you figure out how to pronounce that. Has a spot that sits so far to the west, around 10 miles west of the prime meridian, that it actually becomes the easternmost spot in the U.S. as well. This prime meridian, okay? It's fouling everything up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. See, this is another interesting fact you could bring up at the next dinner party, and you're going to look like the smartest and maybe the most obnoxious. It's possible. It's possible. Number 6. Maine is the closest state to Africa. When you think of Maine, its proximity to Africa probably doesn't come to mind. Surprisingly, though, Maine is the closest U.S. state to Africa, as the Quoddy Head Peninsula is within 3,154 miles of El Beduza, Africa. The two are divided by the northern part of the Atlantic Ocean and not much else. So if you ever want to say that you came close to visiting Africa without actually leaving the country, head to the Pine Tree State. That's Maine, okay? The Pine Tree State. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Number 7. If you head south from Detroit, you could end up in Canada. What? We can hear you now. Wait a second. Isn't Canada north of the United States? And the answer to that question is yes and no. Most of Canada is above the U.S. on the map, but a small part of it reaches down just underneath Detroit. Because of this, traveling south and slightly to the east from a few places in Detroit could bring you to Canada, which may or may not be disorienting. Hey, I just went to Detroit just a few months ago. I could have been really close to Canada, or at least a part of Canada. That's pretty cool. Number 8. Alaska has more coastline than all other states combined. Alaska is just full of mind-blowing facts, isn't it? According to the NOAA Office for Coastal Management, the state's coastline stretches for nearly 34,000 miles, more than all of the other U.S. states combined. In case you're wondering, Florida has 8,436 miles of coast, while Louisiana has 7,721 miles. Of the 30 states that have a coastline, Indiana's is the shortest, just 45 miles. Oh, oh my goodness. Number 9. Europe is home to 6 microstates. When you think of the world's tiniest countries, the island nations of the Caribbean or the South Pacific might pop up in your mind. In fact, 6 of the world's smallest countries, or microstates, are located in Europe. The world's smallest country is Vatican City, inside of Rome, which is home to the Roman Catholic Church and is ruled by the Pope. Italy is also home to the microstate of San Marino, the world's oldest constitutional republic and sovereign state. The other 4 European microstates include Monaco on the French Riviera, Andorra in the Pyrenees Mountains, Liechtenstein, sandwiched between Switzerland and Austria, and the small archipelago of Malta, which lies in the Mediterranean. Hey, I've talked to 2 people from Malta on the What Makes You Famous podcast. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That is a tiny little island in the Mediterranean. but they know how to party. I'll tell you, they know how to party. Number 10, Europe has a rainforest. The thought of a rainforest probably conjures up images of stunning flora and fauna found in the Amazon and other tropical locations. But if you travel to Bosnia and Herzegovina, you'll find Perucica, 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 a rainforest and one of 2 remaining old growth forests in Europe. The forest lies within Sujetska National Park and remains protected. Nicknamed the Lungs of Europe, Perucica is home to more than 170 species of trees and bushes, including beech, B-E-E-C-H, fir, spruce, and mountain maple, as well as more than 1,000 species of herbaceous plants. Visitors especially enjoy the panoramic views from the, I'm going to butcher this one, Vidikovac, 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 a lookout point for scat. What is with these words? I know, Americans, we need to learn how to pronounce things. I need to learn how to pronounce things. Skakavac, Skakavac waterfall, which falls 246 feet into a forest-covered valley. Man, that's something to see. I'd like to check. Maybe I'll look for a video on that. That looks great. All right, number 11. Greenland is not its own country. The days of Spanish exploration, the Great British Empire, and European colonization are mostly gone, with many countries having long since gained independence from their motherland. Some overseas territories still do exist, however, and Greenland is one of them. It's technically an autonomous territory of Denmark, as well as the world's largest island, 3 times the size of Texas. The stars at night are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. If you don't consider the continent of Australia, Greenland is also known for its large ice sheet, expansive tundra, and native Inuit residents. That's pretty cool. It's not its own country. Number 12. Europe is larger than Australia. Maps distort our perception of the world, especially in terms of country and continent size, because it's difficult to project the circular globe onto a flat surface with a high degree of accuracy. For example, the common Mercator map has been criticized for exaggerating the size of countries closer to the poles while downplaying the size of countries and continents near the equator. When you look at the map, Australia appears quite large, making Europe the obvious candidate for the smallest continent award. To be fair, Australia is a large landmass that would qualify as the largest island in the world if it weren't a continent. With all that said, Europe is actually larger than Australia by about 30%. These are some facts, interesting facts. And number 13, rounding out the 13 facts. Number 13, at its closest point, Asia is only about 50 miles from North America. For those living in North America, Asia can feel like it's on the other side of the world. The average flight time from Asia to North America is about 16 hours, which is no small undertaking. But the two continents aren't as far apart as you might think. Asia and North America are only about 53 miles apart at the Bering Strait, a body of water that separates Russia and Alaska. It's believed that during the Ice Age, the water levels at the Bering Strait fell so low that the area became a land bridge between Asia and North America, which allowed both animals and people to migrate from one continent to the other. How about that for interesting facts? My goodness, that's 13 facts that probably did change. Yeah, I'd say they changed the way that I look at the world. For more Stick around. Also, if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast. It's called What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's it for this edition of KeysDAN Show. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.